Is Colo going to be able to take down his former teammates? Just one last series today, and we have Never Lucky. I think they're kind of the X factor here. We're not exactly sure what comps they're going to bring in the blind pick, and we've already seen that not only does Method Orange have a wide variance of picks that they can bring, maybe some questionable decisions. It could be a very interesting series. This could be one that goes to a Game 5, and I think we could see a whole bunch here. My name is Rich. I'm going to be your host. We're joined by Zico, Super Tees, and Ven Rookie, but we're jumping right into the action. Super Tees and Ven going to be casting each second of it. We got Lord Mez and Trill and Zach.
Whoa.
Zach. Okay.
I mean, historically, Retribution Paladins have been the answer to melee cleaves, but I'm not sold on it just yet. This is really the first time we're going to get to feel it out in Battle for Azeroth. Let's see how Zach performs. He was playing Holy last week, Demon Hunter this week, Retribution Paladin. He seems to be the new kid on the block with tons of different answers, and this is why we love Colo so much, because he brings surprise to the tournaments.
Now we'll have to see Zach with a nice hammer of justice on Sidu because of Valito gripping him in, but they weren't really able to take advantage of that. Sidu's just going to be completely fine. Good pressure now on Mez. One of the nice things about the Retribution Paladins, they bring in a lot of off heals to assist Colo, so his mana isn't going to be taxed quite as heavily, and Mez is getting bursted down a surprising amount. Gladiator Safeguard already procs, Anti-Magic Shell already used, stun over onto Sidu. Mez not completely out of it just yet.
Another thing to note is with Retribution Paladins is that their hardest hitting attacks hit really hard, no surprise, but Earthen Wall Totem doesn't do too good into really hard hitting attacks. So Retribution Paladin can cut through that Earthen Wall Totem's defense. That's something Sidu needs to prep for later in the match, but now Zach is under fire as Method Orange starts swinging back. That grip into triple stun is it's wreaking havoc, really. Colo is struggling. I mean, look at his mana. He's already significantly behind. Method Orange are in a good position.
I think this is one of those comps where you think it's going to work out better than it does, but the Retribution Paladin very susceptible to the damage of the Demon Hunter and the Death Knight, and Zach just caught in midfield. Colo having to use tons of mana. Trill consistently landing these mana rifts on Colo. Now Colo gets gripped in. Good pressure from Method Orange. Colo way behind on mana. He's going to try to go for a drink at some point, but Trill's main objective this game is just going to be hunt Colo down. Don't let him get stealth. Don't let him take a sip of mana. When he does, his reward is getting stunned into a mana rift, so that's definitely a difficult position to be in for Never Lucky.
All right, there's still pressure going back and forth in this match. It's not entirely set in stone as to who is favored compositionally. Colo is in stealth, basically trolling Trill right now by running back and forth with the pillars. Trill can't find him, actually so much so that he went for the Shadow Sight Eyes, but he's Chains of Ice by Valito, unable to find him. Colo, though, didn't get to drink, and I mean, look at that mana. That's not looking too good for Colo. He's going to need to try and find it, but with Trill on the team, it's so difficult. They grip in Colo. They snag in the triple stun there just at the end of it, but no real damage off the back of the stun. It's really just the mana, and I want to see if Trill is running that mana rift, so whenever Colo gets stunned, they then look to combo it with a mana rift. He is running mana rift. That's going to be taking even more mana away from Colo throughout this fight, and on paper it makes sense, but unless Never Lucky get a lucky crit, I'm thinking that this is going to be a clean KO. Method Orange have that strategy to go after the mana bar. They're not stopping Colo. He just started drinking in the middle. No one saw him? Did he? How much mana did he get? Okay, not very much. But I was going to say that was a pretty big throwaway by Method Orange to not just deny that immediately.
Yeah, Trill hopped over him to right away. Maybe they're just letting Colo get out of combat, sit down for a drink, and try to deny it right at that 5-second mark, so Colo kind of wasted a little bit of time. Trill once again having to chase down Colo, and honestly, I wouldn't even mind Colo if Trill just sat on Colo for the rest of the game in this particular matchup. Mez just has really good pressure on Valito, on Zach as well. Colo just constantly running away, being very annoying for Trill. Although Demon Hunters are good at shutting it down, Colo's just constantly forcing him to chase him down. He's not going to be able to put out as much pressure as Zach and Valito in this matchup.
Colo has consistently had to find new teams every year, but he still gets to be a top contender time and time again. It really shows you that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Colo seeking revenge against former rivals and former teammates in the lower bracket, trying to make his climb back up to that crown in the finals. Can his new squad, Never Lucky, do it? They bring some surprise here in game number 1 with that Retribution Paladin. It packs a punch, but they've got to punch down Sea-Doo. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough.
Yeah, Sea-Doo seems to be fine in this matchup as well. Anytime he gets gripped in, as long as he's in Ghost Wolf, he's really not taking too much pressure. Zach, once again, taking quite a bit of damage.
Oh!
Interrupted there by Trill. Can't bubble for a second. Might have to actually activate the Divine Shield. But with his eye for an eye, he should be able to survive. Colo also using his Iron Bark in that exchange. Huge healing on Zach, gets topped off. Now Colo's certainly looking for a drink. Mez in position to stop him with the Death and Decay, that red circle you see at the pillar. It's a ranged ability the Death Knight has. Mez can use that to easily avoid Colo actually getting drinks. Anti-Magic Zone is now used. I believe that was by Mez, so they're just trying to avoid some damage. This is the Avenging Wrath from Zach. That's when the Retribution Paladin really gets to put out significant burst. So Mez just trading out his Anti-Magic Zone, avoiding some of that damage, and trying to save some of Sea-Doo's precious mana.
Dampening looking like it's going to be a requirement here in game number 1, but with Mana Rift on the side of Method Orange, Colo is significantly behind, and that Earth Elemental currently attacking Colo. Sea-Doo sends that minion off to deny Colo from drinking. He's got the responsibility of babysitting Colo and stopping drinks, but Colo does have Shadow Meld, which will also stop that Earth Elemental from attacking and allow him access to Prowl to sit in stealth and drink, and I really think that they need to trade Divine Shield for that or something. It's not looking too good here with double stun combo together by Method Orange. Zach suddenly catches a huge heal out of nowhere and totally restabilizes that situation that I thought could have been his life. Now I'm trying to reverse it, activating huge damage with that Avenging Wrath rolling, ramping up into big hits. Sea-Doo's mana is slowly but surely being taxed here. Colo's got a heal on nothing though for much longer, and Method Orange keep their lead.
Colo has no mana. He's nothing left in the tank. He has to get a drink here, potentially trading out his Divine Shield, but Sea-Doo, he's going to be hunting him down in Ghost Wolf, finding Colo. Colo got no mana there. 10% dampening. It's basically going to be impossible for Colo to heal through this damage. Demon Hunters and Death Knights both do such high consistent damage. There it is. A nice grip coming in from Mez into a triple Chaos Nova, into a triple Capstun. Good coordination, good teamwork from Method Orange. Colo still keeping his team alive. Zach still on the Retribution Paladin. His off heals are still significant with that Word of Glory. Avenging Wrath available in 6 seconds, and that might be something that can push Method Orange over the edge, potentially take away the last little bit of mana that Sea-Doo has. Mez is going to have to make sure he does a good job with his Anti-Magic Zone.
Yep, we see that traded out almost immediately to answer Zach's attack, but now they switch to Sea-Doo to bounce back. Can they stay on target, or will he fall apart is now the question. We saw Sea-Doo targeted down earlier in the tournament. It's definitely a pressure point. Zach's trying to gun him down, but not able to stay on target. Sea-Doo effectively kiting and avoiding a near-death experience. Colo is constantly running laps around the map to try and sneak into stealth, but he's not able to find a drink. Nice interrupt by Valito, slowing down Sea-Doo's heals, gripped into a stun. Good combo there, but reverse magic from Trill completely opens that up. Maybe just damages enough to push Mez over. I feel like in dampening, the Retribution Paladin brings a bigger swing, and that might actually be enough to take down Mez.
Yeah, Anti-Magic Zone has to be traded out. Sea-Doo got interrupted. That was a beautiful Mind Freeze from Valito to set up that burst damage. Mez still not out of it. Sea-Doo has to trinket, but he doesn't really have too much healing. He has no Ascendance, no Spirit Link, no Earthen Shield Totem. In a couple seconds, if Mez can hold on, he will have that safety net. Divine Shield has to be activated by Zach as Colo looks for a drink, but Mez getting lower and lower. Never Lucky could claim game number 1. Sea-Doo just tossing out the heals with the last little bit of mana he has available. Colo actually sat down for a drink. Troll didn't shut it down fast enough, and now Colo all of a sudden has enough mana to allow Zach and Valito to regenerate.
All right, Sea-Doo, you're caught in a stun midfield. Trill has used that darkness, the last real line of defense for Method Orange. Colo was behind on mana the entire game, but in dampening, their pressure appears to be much higher. Sea-Doo is now almost tapped on mana, and Colo may look to be able to close this game out against Method Orange, and that would be critical to have the swing match advantage for the rest of the series. Method Orange are now backs against the wall, quite literally, with Mez that close to a literal a wall. Valido trying to lead the charge. Zach's got Avenging Wrath in his back pocket. That's a huge hit that he can pull out at any time. He's going to pop it.
Pulls the trigger immediately. Mez responds with the anti-magic zone, but they don't line up perfectly. Zach will have more time with that cooldown where Mez isn't going to have the damage reduction. Sea-Doo activates the Ascendance to try to keep Mez afloat. He's just taking so much burst damage. Trill having to use the imprisonment on Zach to slow down this Retribution Paladin. His wings are just so scary. Colo has the Iron Bark, immediately tossing it onto Zach to keep him alive. Zach really doesn't have too much left. He's getting lower and lower. Caught into the Hammer of Justice, reverse magic, and Method Orange gets the first point on the board.
But it doesn't look easy. Never Lucky definitely not scared to take risky picks here. And that was something that Super Tees did mention very early on. Colo, this is all of his teams. They are always very likely to break out something you don't really expect. How did the Retribution Paladin look in your mind, Zico?
I like the whole comp that Never Lucky brought to the table. I don't like the Resto Druid. I don't think Resto Druid is the healer that you want to have in a cleave because, as we mentioned earlier, it's just too hard to sneak off and get those drinks. We have to set those up, usually with a Frost Mage. We don't see that on the same side as the Resto Druid. Usually means that you're not going to be getting those drinks very often. Sea-Doo as well, of course. We were criticizing Greggy a little bit yesterday for not shutting down those drinks as much on that Restoration Shaman. Sea-Doo's not going to be having that issue. Of course, sending over his Earth Elemental and sending over all those pets, consistently coordinating with Trill as well to shut down pretty much every single one of Colo's drinks. And we can see when the Shaman doesn't drink, the Druid doesn't drink, the Shaman is the one who comes out ahead. Colo is also a main Resto Shaman. I want to see him on that Shaman go toe-to-toe with Sea-Doo. He has that Retribution Palette as well on his roster, and I think that's all they need to actually take that game.
How do we feel about a Mistweaver Monk in this matchup?
Anything but a Druid, honestly. A Mistweaver Monk is great for healing cleaves as well. We saw it over in Europe yesterday. Or a Resto Shaman. Honestly, they're both more mana-efficient healers at this point. The whole thing that makes Resto Druid good is that they have the strongest burst healing, I would say, but they also cost a lot of mana now, so you need to sneak off and get those drinks time and time again to make it work.
That's just such a huge change. I mean, now all of a sudden you're saying anything but a Druid? Sid, what do you think here? Which healer do you want to see?
I think Shaman is the best pick, but I also think Valido could change to a Warrior. I mean, Mez was taking so much damage basically just from the Retribution Paladin alone. You add in Sharpened Blade, that might actually be the only composition that I can theoretically craft in my mind to kill a Death Knight before dampening. You can play Disarm and Stormbolt, extend that crowd control so Death Strike isn't accessible, burst out with Sharpened Blade, and with that pairing Avenging Wrath on a Rep Paladin, it might be the best composition to take down a Death Knight.
How do you like that idea coming out
I think
here?
it's smart. He will have sweeping strikes. He's going to be able to put out really consistent damage, be durable on the Warrior as well, but I think bringing in the Resto Shaman is going to be the most important factor. I'd really like to see the healing breakdown of both teams and really see how much off-healing Zach was able to bring to the table with that Retribution Paladin, because I feel like that was significant in the match. Anytime you saw Zach go from 50 to 100% HP, I feel like that was a big Word of Glory crit.
Yeah, is Word of Glory, is WoG still something that we do see those Rets playing a lot, Zico?
Well, they play it, but it's been heavily nerfed compared to at the start of the expansion, so it's not as strong. But the Red in general just has a lot of, like the Eye for an Eye is really good. Of course, we saw some casted heals as well with those flashes of light, and the just added utility from like things like Blessing of Protection and the Shield of Vengeance as well is really, really big in these games. When it's essentially cleaves going up against cleaves, the Red has a lot of healing, the Red has a lot of cleave damage, the Red has insane burst damage, especially deep into dampening when things like Anti-Magic Shell isn't going to be as effective. And the Red also, it just brings in so much utility to his team.
Yeah, definitely does. Whether using Word of Glory or not, what a tongue twister. Whether you're using WoG or not, it definitely is going to bring a lot of that utility. We could see it again here. Sid mentions that first game could be very important in this matchup. Zico, for anybody just tuning in, why could this first game be so important when we see two teams like this going head-to-head?
Well, essentially now Method Orange won that first game, which gives Never Lucky the opportunity to lock in the map. They selected Asherman's Fall. Now Method Orange Orange has to lock in their composition blind, which means that Never Lucky gets to see what they're going to be playing against and then select a potential counter pick for that. Now, because Method Orange won the game number 1, if the series goes all the way to game number 5, the team that has this double advantage of selecting the map and then seeing the comp and then selecting their comp in game number 5, that's going to be Method Orange. So if a series keeps going 1 to Method Orange, 1 to Never Lucky, all the way to game 5, Method Orange has that big lead where they can just essentially bring in Sam I Am if they want to, try to throw a curveball and things like that.
Yeah, and sometimes that curveball will definitely come back to just punch you in the face, which is kind of what we saw in Game 5 with Method Orange. This time we're not going to see Sam I Am coming in just yet. One of the best players at what he does, it just doesn't seem to be the thing that is needed for Method Orange right now. They're going to bring Mez and Trill, and this is a composition that definitely looks like it is more than serviceable, may even be able to get them on match point here. Never Lucky has some decisions to make. Resto Shaman seems to be something that everybody on the desk potentially wants to see. Maybe even see that Mist Weaver Monk come in. Zach on the Paladin, though. It does really seem like this is something that everybody does love. We got Vanguards in the back. I'm sure he's excited. But the thing is whether or not Never Lucky will bring it again. We do know that sometimes Colo is one of those guys, too, that also does like to have his team switch things up quite a bit. Do you think that there may be anything coming out of left field?
The map is kind of hinting that a little bit. Ashramin's Fall, not the best cleave map, but it's really good for Wizards, and they have Pack Rats on the team who played Destruction Warlock and Balance Druid in the tournament last week, so they may be considering their options here to throw maybe even similar composition to what we saw the Super Frogs playing, but even I don't think that comp will do too well into what Method Orange have crafted. I think what they need is a Death Knight Slayer, and the best classes I can pair together are the Arms Warrior and the Rep Paladin, but I'm not sure if Valido is multi-classing the Warrior enough to go with it. Instead, they're going to go toe-to-toe in a mirror match. Okay,
things you love to see.
That's it.
This is something that I think we all kind of wanted just to see what.
I didn't expect this, but yeah.
I did expect it, but you kind of want it, right? It's one of those things where it's like when this comp used to get played by Trill and Mez, Colo was the one healing it on Shaman. Now he's going to be getting to go toe-to-toe with Sea-Doo, and we're going to get to see what this new squad can do with Colo. I mean, Zach has done nothing but impress me so far, whatever he's been on, and we've already seen a lot of different specs coming out from him, and you look at their Death Knights, one of the best Death Knights, no question about that, one of the best in the scene in North America. How do you think this mirror goes, Zico?
Well, if we just look at it piece by piece, I think Valido can definitely hang with Maz, and I think Colo and Sea-Doo, they can kind of compete with each other on a fairly even level field there. But I think Zach, even though he has impressed on that Demon Hunter, he's going up against Trill on that Demon Hunter. Trill, I feel like he is really the king of Demon Hunters in NA, potentially even the world. So that is a big statement. But then again, we saw something similar happen yesterday with Yes Dave going up against the King of Destruction, the Lord of Destruction, sorry, Sid, Warwicks on that Warlock, and they managed to play 1-1. They still lost that series because they were so far behind, but stranger things have happened, right? So I admire the confidence here by Never Lucky, and it could go a long way.
Trill is Mr. World of Warcraft. We've said it quite a few times. He is one of those guys who can not only play it to the top of its potential when we do look at the Demon Hunter, but he's also one of the guys who is theory crafting quite a bit what is going to be strong. That's why we see things come out from Method Orange in the past like Double Demon Hunter, and they were the guys who were really sitting there trying to drain mana from healers. But Zach coming in here, I like making the statement too. Zach a little bit newer to the scene, a younger guy wanting to go toe-to-toe with one of the best. And then also, if you're Colo, I can't imagine that you don't want to go toe-to-toe with Sea-Doo.
I was going to say, Colo is one to not take a mirror match. He always tries to craft what would be the best counter to the composition. So for him to go in a mirror match means they don't have any other option.
Or that it's just a statement, right?
Okay.
I think when you do look at what Colo does like to do, what is the best? If you were completely evenly matched in a mirror matchup, you say that it's 50-50. This is a statement from somebody that likes to counter comp. Let's see what Colo can get done here, trying to say that he is the very best that someone ever was.
All right, stun on Colo. He trinkets out to avoid a mana rift. I think that's going to be important for both of these shamans. They're just going to be using their trinket to rotate through these stuns, break out some of these mana rifts. You can see Sidu, he's actually playing Alliance in this matchup, whereas Colo, they've opted to play Horde, and not exactly sure why they went with Alliance, but I think Colo will get more value, especially if both shamans end up being trained a little bit later on. Mez taking most of the damage initially. Earthen Shield Totem is gone once again. Colo getting mana rifted. And it looks like so far, Method Orange is ahead on mana. Valido getting low. Good pressure here coming in from Trill. Mana Rift trying to be landed on Sidu, but unfortunately did miss. So Sidu's not going to be losing too much mana.
I think it's important to note in this final series of the day that it is an elimination match. So if you're a Method Orange fan and you want Sidu to go all the way, he needs your support throughout this whole series. He needs your energy to try and take down Colo. Right now, they've got a lead. Valido gets bursted by Method Orange with that Maledicts combined together, managing to pull the Gladiator's Medallion and still keeping momentum. Colo needs to start recovering, but Colo is too close to the fight. He has to juggle being potentially interrupted and healing his team. Sidu is in a much superior position further away. I want to see Colo back off away from that little cluster of melee so that he doesn't need to deal with so much crowd control, similar to what Sidu is doing.
I think there's only been one effective mana rift on Sidu so far in this game, whereas there's been 3 on Colo. So that really could be the difference in this matchup, especially if it does come down to mana. Once again, another mana rift on Colo. He's already on 40%. Sidu's looking a lot healthier at 70%, looking for a Hex on Colo. Colo gets out of line of sight. Zach putting out some good pressure on Mez. I really think the name of the game is just do consistent damage to the DPS, look for mana burns, and that will be the ultimate win condition for both of these rosters.
Trill already got a lot of mana rifts in favor for his team, but Mez is under pressure. Finally, Never Lucky showing some signs of life here in game number 2. Method Orange want to just clean sweep and advance for a rematch in the grand finals, but obviously Never Lucky are not going to make that easy. Toledo getting stunned up. Colo caught in a root. Potential mana rift off that root from Trill. I'm curious to see if he goes for it here. Don't see that purple circle committed by Trill. He wants to make sure he can secure it with a stun. Colo looking for a Hex. Actually catches Sidu off guard with that Hex. Well done by Colo. This could be an opening to pull more cooldowns from Mez, but not enough. Sidu actually predicted the Hex landing, let Colo get it, had Earthen Wall Totem already down, and denied all the damage through the crowd control. Colo trying to sit down for a drink and regenerate the mana. Trill gets stunned by Zach into an imprison, getting a trinket to deny the drink, which means that Trill cannot use that trinket or Gladiator's Medallion to access darkness later on in a burst moment. That might actually be a win condition later on for Never Lucky. Even though Trill denies the drink, he now exposes himself defensively.
Yeah, Zach did the exact same thing though. He got caught up in a stun. As Sidu was going for a drink, had to trade out his trinket as well. So both Demon Hunters in a similar position. Once again, Sidu trinkets out, trying to avoid the mana rifts. Colo doesn't have the same luxury. His trinket isn't up for another minute and 15 seconds as he gets Death Grip in. Another mana rift likely to land into a full Hex. Now Valido could be in some trouble. Colo's going to have to play catch-up. Might have to trade out the Spirit Link Totem. Doesn't manage to get the Earthen Shield off just yet, where Sidu drops that out to keep Mez and Trill healthy as they look to close out this game.
Valido in danger mode. Colo actually getting a mana lead, an advantage. A bit of a blunder here by Method Orange, but the damage is still there. Valido hanging on. Sidu now in the back line looking for one. Colo trying to snipe him. They're going to get it. Zach gets gripped back into the fight. Both Death Knights in trouble, taking a lot more damage than I expected before dampening. If we get to dampening and both shamans are out of mana, this is going to end quite quickly, and it's still difficult to determine who is actually ahead throughout the fight. I would have said Method Orange, and still in this position, Method Orange, but if Valido can stabilize, maybe they can reverse it. Darkness gets traded by Zach before Trill's Darkness, so there is a cooldown lead on that front. No Spirit Link Totem for Colo either. These are big emergency cooldowns that Sidu does have access to and can use for a push later on to get a kill, and could be game-breaking.
Yeah, stun mana rift on Colo once again. Both shamans basically tied. Mez is the one that's lower. Earthen Shield Totem gets dropped out by Sidu. Right now, Mez should be able to survive with that. Valido could be in a little bit of trouble. Colo having to hang on a little bit longer before his Earthen Shield Totem's up. Trill drops the Darkness. Both teams forcing cooldowns. Hex now secured by Colo onto Sidu. Nicely done as Colo gets gripped in, trinkets out, trying to avoid the mana rift. This is surprisingly close. Never Lucky's doing a really good job putting this match in a toe-to-toe situation.
This is quite a narrow race, and there it is. Dampening 1% healing reduction, ramping up over time. Both Shamans tapped on mana. Cedar still with a Spirit Link Totem in his back pocket to pull out at any moment to recover the team. Colo doesn't have that option, so Never Lucky need to build momentum and swing the entire game off of it. They may be able to find it here, going after Mez. How much more can Sea-Doo take here? Colo looks for a Hex, gets denied on it. Mez now still in trouble. The damage is too high. Sea-Doo's next to him with Ascendance Pack Spirit healing. Even though he's out of mana, that Ghost Wolf redirecting it to Mez, allowing him to stay in the fight a tad bit longer, and maybe etch for the kill as Valido is so dangerously low. Maybe a cross kill. One more second on that anti-magic zone. He activates that, soaks up a couple hits, but now Mez also has it to respond. Earthenwall Totem, this is a race to the finish with basically nothing left on either side.
This is an exactly mirrored game. This is so scary for both of these Death Knights. Imprisonment on Sea-Doo. Colo just trying to get some heals on Valido. Mez catches a huge heal there by Sea-Doo. Both Shamans use Earthen Shield Totem. Sea-Doo trying to sneak away, but can't look for a drink. There's no way in this situation. It is a race to the finish. One of these Death Knights will die. Colo gets gripped in. Triple Chaos Nova into a Mana Rift. 0 mana on Colo into an Imprisonment. Trill doing such a good job. Mez still low though. Valido manages to hold on. Gladiator Safeguard does proc. Wind Shear coming in from Colo. Looking for a Hex. He gets Mind Freeze. Good backup from Mez. Is Mez really going to fall? Asphyxiate on Sea-Doo. Mez trying to kite away. Trying to survive. Mez and Valido chasing him. Looking to close out this game. Will they really be able to beat Method Orange in a mirror?
I mean, Colo's Spirit Link Totem is coming off cooldown in 8 seconds. Now he may actually have the advantage in this fight deeper into dampening. Their momentum is swinging in favor. Mez is lower on health. They've got more cooldowns. What are they going to do? Mez is on the ropes here. They don't have the pressure to push him over just yet. Earthenwall Totem. Valido trying to bait Mez to leave the safety of that. And Mez is reluctantly saying, no way, I'm not doing that trade. Now Valido charging forward. Colo's Earthenwall Totem is down, protecting Valido. This is an advantage for Never Lucky. They've got a massive lead with that Spirit Link Totem and soon to be Darkness. Trills is still 30 seconds away. Mez is in so much trouble.
Yeah, barely surviving. Colo looking for a Hex. Manages to sneak it in on Sea-Doo. Valido still low. Colo with no trinket. Still has that Spirit Link Totem. Sea-Doo still doesn't have it for another minute. Method Orange, are they able to hold on? Mez's self-healing is just so strong. Both of these Death Knights really showcasing Death Strike here. Both healers have been for the last minute in this matchup, but self-healing from these classes really high, able to stay durable in these situations.
All right, there's crowd control on Sea-Doo. Mez is still low on health. Darkness trades for Zac, but now Trills is available just in time maybe to save Mez. Are they going to coordinate it and trade? They're trying to hold on to it maybe for a push to use it both defensively and aggressively, but this is risky. I'm not sure if they're going to get away with it. Interrupt secured on Colo, denying his heals. He's got Earthen Wall Totem to stabilize the team if he needs it. Both Shamans healing on absolutely no mana. Spirit Link Totem has been forced. Now the cooldowns are in favor of Method Oranges, as Sea-Doo Spirit Link Totem is readily going to be available in 18 seconds. Darkness can tide that time over to make it, and it may just be required right now. Zac gets a double stun snuck in there, but now they're in a stun. They go after Colo maybe? He's starting to rot down. The pressure is high. Sea-Doo's got Ascendance. He's using that Pack Spirit and Ghost Wolf, so he gets close to the team. The Ascendance converts the healing, but it's not enough at 21% dampening. He has to use Spirit Link Totem. Now both teams again on the ropes. No cooldowns left, but Method Orange have pressure in multiple places, and it may just be enough to close this fight out as Zac holds on by a thread, but ultimately falls. Method Orange mix it up to find a kill and put themselves a match point.
Man, you look at that one and you think Never Lucky's going to be able to run away with that mirror. If you are the boys on Never Lucky, I wonder if you go, maybe we play that again. It's such a volatile matchup. Method Orange barely able to grab that win, putting themselves on match point.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Honestly, it looked like Method Orange were in the driver's seats there for the most part of the beginning of that match, but then Colo manages to find that one drink, getting 30 or 40% mana, and all of a sudden we're all tied up. Colo's getting his cooldowns back before, and we got to give it to Mez. This guy was doing some phenomenal kiting to actually allow Sea-Doo's cooldowns to come back up. Sea-Doo as well, edging out a little bit there towards the end with that Ascendance Pack Spirit healing, and then of course look at this follow-up Hex with the Aura Mastery there towards the end, and then Sea-Doo himself going for this snipe lightning bolt. I actually think it killed Zac here towards the end. Might have been what finished him off. It looked like it at least. It's just these small things, but this match was super close. Honestly, if you're Never Lucky, maybe this is just what you do. Method Orange, honestly, they had they just had a little bit more pressure. They set up a little bit more burns. We saw Sea-Doo being able in the beginning of the match to kind of take advantage of his positioning a little bit better. Just small things makes me want to pick Method Orange here over Never Lucky on this map. And honestly, Never Lucky, not only do they pick the mirror, which is just straight up bold, but they also pick it on Dollar and Sewers, where they are not going to be able to get those drinks that kind of kept them going in that last match. They're going to just say, okay, we're going to beat you, and we're going to do it without drinking.
I also have one question. Do you have any idea why Method Orange is playing Alliance in this matchup?
I was thinking the same thing. Why aren't they playing triple Orc?
Yeah, because Mez being on a Night Elf, I don't feel like gives him that much of an advantage. Sea-Doo on the Dwarf, I mean, maybe they're switching it up in this game.
Maybe he just saw everybody drinking and he wanted to just hop on and play some Night Elf.
Mez?
Well, either way, this is going to potentially be decided by a mirror here. No matter who you're cheering for, you got to give it up for Never Lucky. Just straight up going for an all-out aggressive play and a statement. This one can decide it for Method Orange, or Never Lucky can extend it one more game.
We are on match point, everybody tuning in. This could be the final game of the day. You don't want to go anywhere, but maybe it's going to be over soon. Zach takes huge damage early on from Method Orange. Devastation gets denied, but an overlap of defenses and opening for Method Orange. Now Mez feeling the brunt of this exchange, as targeting strategies are different between these two teams despite the same compositions. Going after Zach before dampening is an interesting choice, but now Mez is falling behind.
Yeah, I think Colo running the adaptation is actually really smart in this matchup. He's going to be able to avoid a lot of these imprisonment mana burns that Trill has been able to find, as Sea-Doo's just trading out his trinket anyways anytime there's a mana burn to be found. So he's going to get twice the value there. Good choice by Colo. Zach taking some damage. Both teams stabilizing in this moment. Really not too many cooldowns have been traded out so far. I think it will end up coming down to a mana race once again.
It was a really well-timed disrupt by Trill, instantly interrupting Zach's I-Beam and denying his generation of Fury, so he cannot use Chaos Strike with that Metamorphosis activated. Trill on point. He obviously knows that Demon Hunter class inside and out. He's running in the MDI, he's running in the Mythic Raid race, he's running in Arena with it. If someone is going to know everything about Demon Hunter, it's definitely Trill, and he is running Zach around here early on in the match. Significant mana advantage already established here for Method Orange.
Yep, good damage for both teams. Sea-Doo a little bit ahead on mana, and I really think that comes down to the way Trill's playing it. Trill just consistently landing these mana burns, these mana rifts, over and over and over. You can see that little purple circle on the ground. The Demon Hunter places that under the Shaman, and after a certain amount of time it expires, taking mana, taking health, and it is just a ticking time bomb for these teams.
Ooh! Okay, that was a big heal.
Yeah, that was a big heal, but that was a scary moment for Mez, getting way too low. Close call, but Sea-Doo always likes to give his fans heart attacks in these matchups with such close calls. Valito now getting a little bit low as well. Once again, another mana rift can be secured onto Sea-Doo. His mana actually is relatively even at this point.
All right, the teams are evening out here. It's still match point. Colo has to battle back 3 games in a row to take out Method Orange in the lower bracket in a mere matchup against Method Orange, who have been practicing this for quite some time. Can Zach do it? The Holy Paladin Legend going head-to-head with Rubcup, now trying to go face-to-face with Trill on Demon Hunter. What can Zach actually do? Can he accomplish such a feat? We will find out here shortly. Colo sneaks away, gets denied. Sea-Doo now trying to sneak off and find an opportunity to drink, regenerate his mana, and extend it for a late-game advantage, but Colo denies it. Mana evening out. No cooldown advantage of any significance is building itself up just yet, but as we move into dampening, we saw both Colo and Sea-Doo healing basically on fumes. Sea-Doo gets hexed on his trinket. Nice moves by Colo. He's getting spicy here.
Yeah, that was a beautiful play there by Colo. Mez still getting low. Sea-Doo might have to drop the Spirit Link Totem as he moves in. Does trade it out to keep his team alive. I don't know if he necessarily needed to do it. He had the Earthen Shield Totem. I think that might have been more of a preemptive play, but now as we move forward to dampening, that option not available for Method Orange. Earthen Shield Totem now gets dropped. Valito and Zach trying to get some pressure rolling, but Sea-Doo denies. Colo far behind in terms of mana. Not too far behind in terms of mana as he was playing at the box. He gets gripped in. Good pressure here by Mez and Trill, making sure to keep taxing Colo's mana, as that does seem to be the ultimate win condition for both teams.
Pressure is so much higher right now for Never Lucky. Mez is constantly at sub 10% health. Is he going to go down before dampening? Trill has to drop Darkness. That saves Mez, but if he gets unlucky, he may die through it. They're still holding him at such low health. Cedar's been locked out of the match for so long. A Hex potentially gets secured. No, denied by the grounding totem. Good grounding totem usage by Cedu. Breaking up the chain. Connecting a big heal now onto Mez. Valito now on the back foot. Zac trades out Darkness, but it's not a guarantee. Mez grips him out for a second. Valito hoping that he doesn't get unlucky here inside that Darkness, and now Spear Link Totem is forced out. Both teams running on basically nothing for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, I feel like Colo actually threw in some offensive purges there that taxed the last little bit of his mana. They were really trying to kill Mez in that crowd control chain, but he stayed alive, and now that might end up biting Colo later on in the game as he uses Ascendance as well as the Pack Spirit. Bolito getting lower, and that last crowd control chain will secure the game for Method Orange as they knock Never Lucky out of the tournament.
Never Lucky tries to make a statement, but it is going to be Method Orange who gets to make this statement. This is our composition. Get the heck out. And they are going to knock Never Lucky out of the tournament. This is a weird mirror to even talk about, right? It is all out craziness. Zico, for anybody who doesn't actually understand what the moment-to-moment craziness is, break it down.
Well, essentially what you want to be doing is you want to set up these mana rifts for for the enemy Resto Shaman, and then you want to just burn him as quickly as possible by doing as much damage as possible, and then of course also finding these moments to land those imprisonments into hexes that we saw generate pressure. This is a perfect opportunity to showcase just that. So Trill, he's actually going to go for the imprisonment right there, and then he's going to drop the mana rift. If you look in your top right corner, as Colo comes out of this imprisonment, you're gonna see his mana bar move there. And what this is just high-level Demon Hunter play, because if you mistime that, you will actually burn into the Cyclone effect essentially from there, and Mana Rift is a shorter cooldown than your stuns, and if we keep rolling this clip, we're gonna see that allows Trill to essentially get out twice as many mana burns as an inexperienced Demon Hunter here. You're gonna see Colo get gripped in, there is the stun, another Mana Rift is gonna be placed right there, that purple thing under Colo, that is going to be draining even more of his mana. And here, of course, is also the kill. You can see here towards the end, Colo has 0 mana. Sidu has a slightly more edge on that mana, and he's going to be able to keep Mez going for just a tad bit longer. And that's really what it comes down to towards the end here. Now, we also saw Zac being able to do this a couple of times, but this is what you're going up against when you go against Trill. Trill will not mistime those because he is just so experienced on that Demon Hunter. Trill is also going to just be able to dish out a little bit of extra damage. Still, though, I want to say it's very impressive. I saw Zac actually able to do that same combo. It can be very tricky to time it, and he was able to do it as well on that Demon Hunter with probably significantly less reps. So huge shout out to Zac as well. He's been a phenomenal player in both of these last cups, playing Holy Paladin, Red Paladin, Demon Hunter, and whatever else his team needs. So I definitely look forward to seeing him more.